Good afternoon and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you today. And as always, we're thankful for our sponsor, BTC Fiber, who hosts our program. And you can see our programs on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And also want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream of Pikeville, Nickel Roll Antique of Pikeville, and White Wagon Bed and Breakfast at Pikeville. So go by and see those fine folks and check them out. I'm sure you'll be happy when you leave. And today we have with us Matt Massengale. He's Tennessee Farm Bureau agent here in Pikeville. And Matt, it's good to have you, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for having me.
First, let's do a little background on you. Let's do some information like if you had to do, I know to be any insurance agent or anything, you have to have courses and things, stuff that you have to go through to do that.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that and what all you've done.
Yeah, I started in insurance with Farm Bureau back 20 years ago. And one of the things, of course, has been you got to be licensed. And so I went and did all those courses 20 years ago through the state and everything. And so that is, that was a challenge a little bit for me. Those courses were a little bit difficult, especially on the life and health side of it. The P&C I did pretty good in, but I kind of struggled on the life and health side. But, one of the reasons I kind of got into insurance is I've got two brothers that are in insurance. So I'm kind of coming from an insurance family a little bit. And so after I graduated from college, I actually just thought, well, I'll give this a shot because my older brother was in insurance at that time, and so I just thought I'll give this a shot and see how it goes, and it's worked out well. It's been great for me.
So you've been in it 20 years.
20 plus years, yeah, 20 years, yeah.
Wow.
It's actually 20 years. I say 20 years this past May.
Well,
yeah. So.
Well, you've seen a lot of people come and go, haven't you?
I have. I started out actually in Chattanooga, and when I started out, I worked in Chattanooga for 5 years, and then I got transferred to McMinnville and worked there in Warren County. Gosh, I was in McMinnville 7 years, and then I've been here the remaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the remaining years. So, yeah, and Pikeville.
And this is kind of home to you anyway.
Yeah, I grew up in Livingston, so this is a hometown feel to me, and everything. So, definitely used to it. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's a good small town atmosphere where everybody knows everybody.
It is.
And everybody's
good folks.
Friends with everybody.
They are. Yeah, and definitely. Definitely fortunate to have be able to work in this county and be here and to help the folks of Bledsoe County.
Well, when people hear of Farm Bureau, they think of things that y'all do for farms. I know you do a lot of other things, which I want to get into, but let's talk about the farm side of this, because I know you have many farmers. Yeah.
I mean, of course, as a lot of people know, we do the farm owners insurance. Farm package insurance, and we have that. And also, though, getting back, I guess, what you were talking about, besides insurance, we actually are a voice for agriculture. We're the voice for the farmer, and that is from, a political standpoint. I mean, we actually, have a lot of folks up on the federal level and then the state level, that are lobbying for farmers, and trying to do in their best interest. And, I tell a lot of, there's a lot of folks that are probably not members of our organization, and it's not necessarily about having the insurance, but, I always try to, if I see somebody that I know that's farming but might not have insurance with us, I try to encourage them to be a member just to have that voice, that they can put out there on different bills and different things that come down the pipeline, that we look at sponsoring and that they might want to show interest in as well.
Well, a lot of times, and I don't mean this in a bad light, but a lot of times politicians and farmers don't. Politicians have their view, whereas farmers have their they're actually there.
Yeah,
doing the work.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know. They try to find a compromise on that, and everything. Sometimes that's difficult, of course, with anything when you're mixing politics and farming, but we try our best. That's why we have that voice of the organization. that's why we go out and and we have different what's called policy development meetings. Where we hear different concerns from different members and that we have and we take all that information back and we try to form policy kind of what they want and then try to get that passed or try to help them in some way we can, the farmer.
Well, that's good because and people shouldn't be mistaken that the Farm Bureau is just for large farms. It's also for the smaller farms as well.
Absolutely. From the smallest farm up to the the largest farm. We're definitely there's no discrimination on the size of your farm. We're gonna go out and have the same voice for the small farm as we would somebody that's got a huge farm. With a lot of acreage. So yeah, definitely.
Right, and people need to understand too, like you mentioned, there might be some farmers who are not part of Farm Bureau, but things like, like with this heat that we've had recently, that could destroy some of their crops. Things like that.
Right, yeah. Now, one thing, the crops are something that we haven't kind of got into as far as insuring, like crop insurance. We actually broker that out. We actually have a broker for that. Farm Bureau hasn't kind of got in our policies for crop insurance, but we have I've got a broker that I can get for crop insurance, but that is a concern, especially around here and everything. So
well, and they also have equipment. They're just like vehicles. They're going to break down or could be a storm come through and like a tornado or something tear things up that they need to insure.
Yes, and that is one thing we do, insure, of course, all farming equipment, tractors, combines, balers, all farming equipment. We definitely insure that and schedule all those out for folks that have farms and everything. So we definitely get that coverage there, and they'd be covered, very well there.
And a lot of those vehicles cost a little bit more than the cars.
Yeah, they do. Yes. Oh, yeah. A lot of those tractors are pretty expensive. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So they need that insurance.
Yes,
to cover
absolutely.
That,
absolutely.
You can't just go out and write a check.
No, gosh. There's some that, I was just trying to think here. I insured, not necessarily in this county, but, I have, when I was in Warren County, a combine that was 200 and that's probably on the lower end, but it's 275,000. I remember that, and he had a fire. It burned on him. It caught on fire, and but we were able to pay out and get him back. And so, but yeah, the farming equipment is pretty expensive.
Right, and so you never know as far as like you said, the equipment, or things that could happen.
Absolutely.
So it's always important to have that insurance.
Yeah, and and another thing too, Glenn, like on going back to the farm and talking on coverages and things that folks need to kind of be aware of a little bit too is also liability. Liability is a big factor. You have a farmhand or somebody comes on your farm to help you, they get hurt, whatever happens there, of course you got the liability to kick in under the farm owner's package that's going to pay, if that person has to go to the hospital, medical, things of that nature. So liability is definitely another big role in the coverage as well.
Yeah, because out of pocket, that could be a lot of money.
Absolutely, it can, absolutely, and for sure.
That's what insurance is for.
Yes.
You pray you don't have to use it.
But we're here if you need us. That's exactly right. Absolutely.
And now, what are some of the other coverages other than the farm that you offer for your customers?
Of course, we have just a regular homeowners package insurance, and then we have auto insurance. We also have life insurance. We do, some investments with annuities. We also have commercial insurance, business insurance. We offer all those lines. And so I was trying to think. We do broker a little bit of earthquake insurance out too, as well, and flood insurance. Those plans, we actually have a broker for those. And so, yeah, that's about the lines that we offer there.
Well, a lot of times talking about the flood insurance, people
Yeah.
don't realize that some of the areas in the Sequatchie Valley are in floodplains, and for you to own that property or to build on that property, you have to have flood insurance.
Yeah, yes, that is a requirement. Yeah, and just like you said, especially if you're in a floodplain, I mean, their flood area, they're going to actually, require that. And of course, yes, that's where we come into play, and we get those policies for those folks that have to have that.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of times I've known over the years that place may not flood for years.
That's it,
And then
yeah.
it just takes that one heavy rainfall
Right.
for everything to mess up.
Yes, yeah. Flood insurance is one of those where that's kind of the flood insurance is actually regulated through the federal government. There's a flood program, and that's how it's written actually through the federal government. And so, with the flood insurance, it's one of those, just like you said. I know we have quite a few policies where that are on the books where they've never had, I mean, it's been on the books for years. They've never had any type of flooding whatsoever to get close to their house, but they require it, and there's sometimes flood insurance can be, it's good, but it can be pretty expensive depending on how much coverage on the house and different things like that, different factors,
Well, and you mentioned earthquake. I remember years ago, this has probably been 20 plus years ago, the agent we had said, well, the area is earthquake prone. You're going to have an earthquake policy for your house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yes.
I said, really? I said, I've never heard it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, now earthquake, we don't write a lot of earthquake policies. I mean, we I know we got some on the books, of course, but we always ask and throw it out there to see if somebody wants earthquake. A lot of folks don't, just because I know here in our area we've had some trembles and different things like that, but nothing major,
Right.
And so I get passed on earthquake a lot, and everything, but it's definitely there if we have our folks need it, as well. And stuff. Earthquake's a little different though. This would be good for a lot of folks to know. Like earthquake insurance, like a homeowner's, you have your standard deductible of
Right.
around $500 or $1,000 or $2,500. Earthquake's a percentage deductible, and so earthquake, if your house is $250,000, then the minimum's 10% deductible. So it's $25,000. And so earthquake is a different, ball game on the deductible side of things, But don't get me wrong with that, if you see your house earthquake, they deem it that your house goes down because of an earthquake, $25,000. When you got a $250,000 house, doesn't seem like a whole lot, and a big mix of things, big picture there. So it'd be good to have it, because under regular hazard insurance or homeowners, of course, if you don't have the earthquake policy, it's not covered under the regular
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, neither is flood insurance either.
Yeah, if you didn't have it and then you had an earthquake and it damaged your house, then you'd be on your own.
That's right. That's correct.
Just your regular house insurance.
That's it. It will not. Homeowners, on that, how flooding works, and earthquake, of course, we covered that, but flooding from outside sources. Because, flood insurance, when I get people in and I ask them about flood insurance, if they, want a flood policy, they're like, well, I don't live, near, any type of river or whatever, I live up on a hill or something. But what they don't think is that's actually any outside source. So if they had a pool, like a, above ground pool, tree falls on it, hits it, floods the whole house, that's actually flood insurance that would cover something like that.
I see.
So
Didn't
now
realize
there would be coverage like for the pool itself, because a tree fell on it due to the wind. But the water portion of that, if it flooded the house, would not be a covered item.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's a outside source coming in. Yeah, Now that's different if you have a pipe burst. That's an inside. That there's different coverages for that, of course. But for the flooding standpoint, but nobody would ever think about that. They just think about, well, I'm up on a hill and I'm not near any body of water or river, so I'm not worried about it. But but sometimes when I tell them that, we wind up writing a policy. But. And stuff. So
Well, now I'm sure you have probably other policy holders other than just here in the county, right?
A few, yeah. I mean, I've got a few. There's some, I have in some surrounding counties. Very few, because there is a Farm Bureau office in, of course, every county and everything. And, there is those offices that could service, those folks. But you do have some customers that just, they've either moved away from, like, say, Bledsoe County, and they might have moved to, Chattanooga or places, and they've always used our office, and they just kind of want to stick with us. And so for folks like that, I definitely help them there. But mostly if somebody's coming in from other county or something like that, we definitely offer and tell them, hey, there's an office in that county. If you want to use that one, it'd be more convenient for you. Or if you want to use us, we kind of throw that out there to.
The policies still work anyway.
They work, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Transferable to
that's it. Yeah, it is transferable, and I do have some that they'll move, to a different county, and they'll still stick with us. But it's kind of like they see that convenience. What I was trying to tell them, like, it's going to be more convenient if you have that other, you can use that county office that you move in. Then I have some of them will call back and say, hey, can I transfer my business to, Hamilton County or wherever? And of course, absolutely, so that's kind of how we kind of do that.
Well, that's kind of neat that helps people.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's more convenient for them.
It is. We just try to make it, and I'm sure I can speak for, a lot of other counties and everything, that because I know that occurs in a lot of counties, and they just try to make it whatever's convenient the customer wants to do there. Yeah.
And we talked about small farmers, and a lot of times the small farmers may think they're too small to even carry the type of insurance. But why is it important for them to carry insurance as well?
Well, the small farmer, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. For instance, like like me, and I'll go back to the liability there. You got a small farm, but you have that one person that's helping you. If for use example, if they're out, cow runs over them, and that person, that farmhand gets hurt really bad. There's going to be a lot of medical bills there that's going to pile up. Even the farmer might get sued in that certain situation, and that's where we would come in. And that's why small, medium, large farms down the smallest farm like you're talking about, that's why they need it, just for the liability purposes. And not only that, to cover any equipment or their house or anything, but the liability, even for a smaller farm, is real important, because you never know the situation until it happens. And stuff like that. I know I talk sometimes to customers, because they'll give me an example, of different things. I'll do a lot of hypothetical situations, like I was telling you there, about somebody always getting hurt. That's the biggest thing, like with farms, is somebody getting injured, and then cow gets out too. That's, they got livestock, cow gets out, one of their cows gets out, car hits it, kill somebody. That's another issue right there, where the liability would come into play. Had they not had that, they would, that'd be a bad situation. They could lose the farm. Absolutely. So that's why I would encourage, people that, from the smallest farm to the largest, definitely, have coverage there.
Well, I know, especially when I was younger, I didn't think a whole lot about insurance. You're just a kid out of college.
Right, who does?
You think you don't have the extra money, but it's not necessarily a money issue, it's a protection issue, because if you don't set aside that money, like you said, you could lose more than you paying out.
Right.
Long shot.
Right, absolutely. A lot of folks have a lot of assets. They work very hard all their life to build up, to maintain, and that's where we come into play, because especially with farms, there's a lot of acreage usually there, and so you got a lot on the line that you could, lose in just one car wreck, one person, getting hurt on the farm that could sue you. And so, that's where we come into play to, protect those folks, and if those situations ever arise, and so it's always good. Insurance is not. Nobody likes paying insurance. I get it. Nobody likes. I don't. I know. Nobody likes doing it. I understand that. But when you're facing that situation, and you're facing a lawsuit or something, a bad car wreck, and the lawsuits, they're on you, we'll definitely be there for you. That's where it comes into play and very important.
Well, insurance, the whole idea of insurance, you pay it hoping you'll never have to use it.
Right.
But if you have to,
absolutely. And then also, I didn't mention this, fire losses. Fire losses is another thing. You don't have insurance on your house, it goes down. You're just taking a gamble there. But if you have insurance with us, of course, or whoever, you can get that house built back, and that's what we're there for. So fire is another definite important item in auto, of course.
Well, the same thing with crops. If someone threw a cigarette out and it started a fire,
right,
and it was next to your crops and you lost a lot of crops,
right, yes, yeah, that's it. I mean, you got to, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of I know there's a lot of money goes into that from the farmer, from the standpoint of fertilizer to get that crop where it needs to be, seed and everything like that. And so, something happens like that, that's a lot of money that they would be out if they didn't have like crop insurance. Yeah.
Right. And it's not like going to the store. Well, now going to the store is expensive.
It is, yes.
But I mean, you're talking about the fertilizer and the seed.
Right.
And all the hours putting into
right.
it. So there's a lot to it.
There is.
And that could all go up in flames or be destroyed.
And you would be so out if you didn't have a policy like crop insurance backing all that. I mean, that's a lot to be out,
yes.
And so, and everything. So that's where the crop insurance would come into play, of course. But
because that'd be money thrown out the window if you didn't have any coverage to get anything back.
Right, absolutely.
And you can't say, well, we'll wait till next year's crop and see how that comes out.
So you're right,
You can't do that.
Exactly, absolutely.
So, and of course, I know around here I've seen hay barns go up in flames.
Right.
That had full of hay.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot, and of course we cover the barns, and we actually do coverage for hay as well, and had a few barns, few situations like you just described, and it's always a blessing from my standpoint, when I can go out and I'm able to help somebody with the insurance, and that's why I got in it 20 years ago. I mean, it's my goal is to, and I can speak for everybody in my office too, our goal is to, help the folks that we have insured, as much as we possibly can, and we try to go above and beyond, just the office and this and that. I mean, we try to, if you ever, need us for anything, we try to go above and beyond and be there for you.
Well, it's that bond y'all build between you and your customers. That they can trust you and you trust them, and y'all just have a friendly talking relationship.
Right, absolutely. I mean, and like with me, and Jeff and Sean and Billy, we definitely we all just working together, and I tell them too, customer service is the top priority for us, and helping our customers, and so we all our goals align with each other, because that's their goals as well, and we try to do that each and every day, and stuff. And so I just tell them, as long as we're always putting the customer first, trying to do what we can do. We don't always win sometimes with the home office, of course. There's different guidelines and things, but we try our best to, do as much as possible for them, so they're, satisfied. And if they ever need us, they know they can call anytime, and definitely do that. So,
well, what I like to hear, a lot of times, here you got really a small office with your people, and it's more homely.
It is,
atmosphere.
Yeah, going back to when I was telling you I started 20 years ago in Chattanooga, that was a pretty big office, that I started out in years ago. And, that office was really busy. I mean, extremely. But then I moved to McMinnville, and McMinnville kind of got more like here a little bit, just still a little bit bigger office, but no, when I got here and got to Bledsoe County, it reminded me of Farm Bureau back home.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small office, and so it's I had that small town, like we were talking about earlier, small town feel, and it just felt just more at home, and everything. So yeah.
Well, I like the small town atmosphere because everybody knows you.
Oh yeah.
And
oh,
that
yeah.
way,
They do.
you can communicate with just about anybody in the community.
Yeah, and like and I actually, as far as I guess this would be for some customers that don't know, but I do have some new business cards that, that has all my contact information and everything, cell phone, everything on there. If they ever need to get in touch with me, they can call anytime.
Right, because those accidents and things don't always happen on your time.
They don't. That's right. I do. I get phone calls all the time, and I'm, that's fine. That's not a problem, and I know that's what I'm in the business for. Now, I tell people, and I do mean this. I mean, they can call me anytime. Now, if it's 2 or 3 in the morning, they might have to give me a little bit of, I'll have to kind of get up there and give me a little bit of time to call them back, but I will get back with them as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm definitely always there, if anybody needs me, for sure. And everybody else, our office as well.
Well, speaking of contacting, how would they contact you here at the office? What's the number here?
The number here at the office is, of course, 423-447-2921 is our office number. Then we got our fax number. If anybody, fax number is 423-447-2024. And my cell number is 423-413-7781. And so those are definitely 3 ways of contact there.
All right.
Anytime.
Was there anything we haven't discussed you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I will say this, Glenn. There's one thing that we do here that that is very important, and this is more so younger folks, and well, I shouldn't say younger folks. It is not just younger folks, but middle-aged folks too. But is life insurance. I get so many people that they want to insure their home, their auto, their farm, commercial. But life insurance, that's one of our most important assets that we have. Most important things that we have is our life. And so I would encourage people to look into that. Especially with what we've been through with the pandemic and everything, that kind of sparked a lot of folks to kind of think about that. And so we kind of had an uptick, there in that. But that's just real important line of business that we do. And because I've delivered, unfortunately, but I've delivered a lot of death benefits checks, to people. And, with us, we're the fastest in the business. We're usually like, about 7 days out to deliver a life check to some beneficiary. And we take great pride in that. The paperwork, the person, that's the beneficiary, we already have all that ready for them. And we try to make that as easy on that person, beneficiary as possible in that time of loss. And so I would just, that is one important line that I would, definitely encourage folks to look at,
Well, I know a lot of the farmers that I know, the man of the family is the one working the farm, and the woman is at home at the house.
Right.
And not saying she's not involved in the farm work, but that's primarily her job is at the house.
Right.
And if the husband were to be hurt or injured or killed,
there goes them.
There's the farm.
That's it. And I see that quite a bit. And I really when I met with that situation that you just talked about, I just really encourage if it fits in their budget, to get a life policy just for that things, replacement of income lost, to keep if you got kids, you're going to be able to also maintain that same standard of living. Right. And you got college for the kids to think about, and there's a lot that goes into that if I wasn't in the business, I'm not saying most folks sometimes that they just, it's not that they don't know, they know that, but they just don't, that doesn't cross their mind sometimes, you know, and so it's things to just think about, you know, and everything. And so I definitely encourage, you know, looking into that, you know, not only with us, but whoever, you know, you have insurance with, you know, looking in that.
Even with death benefits, you know, funeral expenses are not cheap.
They're not. The average funeral right now, and it's been a few months since I've looked at it, but the average cost is around $8,000 to $10,000. You know, on the funeral cost. Now you can go well above that, I understand, but on average, just an average is about $8,000 to $10,000, and we offer a lot of policies, burial policies, of course. Where we're kind of unique is you can do what's called advanced premium policies, to where you don't have any. You might have a $10,000 burial policy. And when you do advanced premium, you basically, instead of paying that until you die, you just pay a lump sum up front, and it pays it all the way up until age 100. And so that's one of those things, you know, that some folks do, and then don't get me wrong, they pay the monthly premium, or we set it up that way as well. But we do have some, you know, really good burial policies as well.
That's good for people to know.
Yeah. And so I would encourage people that don't have, you know, a burial policy, you know, or anything to kind of look into that, you know, especially if you're younger. If you're younger, yes, as you know, I mean, the younger you are, the better the life premium's going to be, and cheaper. And so, you know, even myself, if I wasn't in this business, I just know me, I wouldn't be, you know, even thinking about probably life insurance like I do now, because I do it all every day and everything. But I would encourage, you know, I try to encourage a lot of younger folks to at least get a good term plan, you know, because it's cheap. I can get a rate locked in 10, 20, 30 years, you know, and so, it's not going to break the budget. It would fit in the budget, you know, and so, you know, I really encourage that quite a bit.
Well, that's good, because insurance is something that none of us, when we wake up, we don't think about. We might be in a car wreck, we might get hurt, something might happen.
Right.
You know, we just don't think of those things because we think about just enjoying our life.
That's it.
And that's why insurance is important.
Yes, yeah. Insurance is one of those, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you know, just because you don't like paying it, but it's kind of one of those things where if you need it, you want it, though. You know, it is. It's a double. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, like I said, if I wasn't in this business, I would be one of those folks that I wouldn't think, you know, a whole lot about. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I'd have it. Don't get me wrong, but you know, the life side and all that, I don't know how much I would, you know, think about that. So I can relate. I can see that why folks, like some folks, they don't do it every day, so they're not going to, you know, be thinking about it all the time, you know.
Right. They just don't think about it at all. Really.
They don't. Yeah, you know, and that's right. And no. Going back, I see this a lot. I'm just trying to think of a few things here that I see quite a bit. Auto insurance. You know, auto insurance is something where, you know, unfortunately there's a lot of folks, not necessarily in this particular county, but probably all over the state. And people know this, but I mean, they don't have insurance. They're driving around without insurance. You know, and that's unfortunate. You know. Of course, you know, most policies now, us included, offer the uninsured motorist or whatever for those situations like that. But, you know, that's another thing I would encourage people, you know, an auto policy, definitely have something like that in place, because it's going back to the property side. You know, you have a lot of assets, you have a lot of acreage, you get into a accident, you know, especially fatality, you're going to be sued. I mean, it's just, you know, it's usually majority of the time you're going to be sued. And if you don't have an auto policy in place, then that's going to be a bad situation. Yeah, to be in.
It takes care of a lot of things.
It does, yeah.
It takes away a lot of things.
Absolutely. It does, yeah.
Well, Matt, I appreciate your time being with us today.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
It's been very informative. And I hope everyone can see that. And folks, again, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And again, we'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, Embers Ice Cream, Nickel Roll Antiques, and White Wagon Bed and Breakfast. And so until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.